Rather than last, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy, once again back on the channel with another big brand new video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well as we try to dive into Arsenal's fixtures. They have been released and it's quite different. The beginning of the season is action-packed, and then the end of the season is also action-packed. Actually, down through the middle, where Arsenal really suffer a lot, November, December and January, we do not have so many games there. Could this be the season where Arsenal might think about challenging for any silverware in the Premier League? Of course, there is a huge requirement now. You must start well and you must end the season well. We're going to be running through the fixtures of the season month by month, and I'll be giving you my predictions on how many points we will be getting out of each month. But I think this is a fixture list that actually works for Arsenal when it comes to all these, long-held belief of Arsenal do not do well in the league because of November, December and January. We might actually do well because we have very few fixtures there. So that means that whether we drop points or not, they might not actually have a huge impact, right? Of course, you're going to give me your thoughts on the in the comments below. Where do you think Arsenal will finish this season? But the most important question for me is, where should we be competing for, and what should we be competing for this coming season? Is it the Premier League? Is it the top four still? Should we be looking at the top four with some silverware, probably the top four and the Europa League, the top four and the FA Cup? Should we just look at the top four alone and focus on that? Where should we be putting our focus in terms of getting in a silverware this new campaign? Right, so the Premier League season actually begins as early as 5th August. I think it usually starts a week later than that, but because of the upcoming World Cup, it has to come earlier. So in August, Arsenal will start off with Crystal Palace away from home at the Selhurst Park. That is not a very easy game, and that's a Friday kickoff. That game will be played on a Friday at 10 p.m. That is East African Standard Time, and that is 8 p.m. UK time. But I think with that one, it's not an easy one. It's not one where you say Arsenal will easily win it. But as Anna's opening fixture, yes, Palace will not be that easy to beat at home, but we need to win it. We absolutely need to win it. We didn't win the last one. We lost to Brentford 2-0, and there were a couple of things that played in that game, COVID and everything. But now we need to win this game. So Crystal Palace away, I think Arsenal can win that one. Leicester City at home, definitely we should be beating Leicester City at home. I'm not thinking otherwise. I'm really not thinking otherwise. At the beginning of the season, we should be able to beat Leicester City at home. Bournemouth has been just promoted from relegation, and we are going away from home. Of course, that's a difficult one. We've always had these games where Arsenal have to travel to clubs that have been just promoted. And it's not always that easy. There is the excitement of them coming back into the big league, the Premier League, and also at times they can be very, very resistant. So Bournemouth is not an easy one, but I think it's a game where Arsenal can still win. And then we play Fulham away at home at the Emirates Stadium. Fulham have been in terrific form, absolute form, coming into the Premier League. They have a goal scorer in Alexander Mitrovic, who has scored over 40 goals in the last campaign. They have been absolutely flying, and I've seen they're trying to get in Balano, so they're trying to make some smart signings here, and they'll try to look at that as we enter into the games one by one in the season. But I'm going to say Fulham is one where Arsenal still can win. Aston Villa home. Villa is a difficult one. I think Arsenal can share points with Villa. So in our first opening fixtures in August, I'm going to be tempted to say that Arsenal should be winning 4 and drawing 1. That will not be a bad start to a season. Like I said, this is a campaign where you have lots of games at the beginning of the campaign. So you have 5 in August, 3 in September, and then you have 6 in October. And for me, August, September, and October, that is the beginning of the season. If anyone is going to win silverware, if anyone is going to qualify for top four, it is going to be either you do very well, extremely well at the beginning of the season, and you start your journey early, or you do extremely very well at the end of the season. So in August, I don't see a very, very big scare. September is where it is hard. Manchester United, Everton, and Brentford. Now, let's start off with United. I think with Man United, we do not know what to expect, so you cannot make a prediction on this one. They could have over 6 players come in across the next 40 days, or they could stay with the same squad and make a few improvements. Arsenal as well, you might have a different squad, a different lineup. Probably 2 or 3 new signings coming into that lineup. I expect Rafinha, Tielemans, and Gabriel Jesus. So, with the Manchester United game, it's quite difficult. You cannot predict that yet, right? But I think not an easy one. We are away from home. If United are in a good position, they're under a new manager. They'll try to impress, but the fact that they will be trying to learn the basics of their system, I don't know if 1 month is enough for them to grasp everything, but they will be still, under that process of learning, making mistakes which are acceptable as you learn new things. So I think Arsenal should be taking advantage of Manchester United in that one. Everton, they've been absolutely horrific this season. They've been atrocious this season, but the signings they're trying to make, they've already brought in Tarkowski, I think from Burnley on a free. So you can see that Frank Lampard is trying to rebuild something at Everton. So Everton is not an easy game. We lost 1 game against them, and we thumped them 5 at the end of the season. So it's again at home at the Emirates Stadium. I will take 3 points from that, and I will also take 3 points from Brentford. So in September, I only expect a shock from Manchester United, but Brentford and Everton, that should be easy for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. The key month at the beginning of the of the season is October, where we have Tottenham, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Southampton all in 1 month. Who the hell? Why the fuck do this? Why would anyone give us such a fixture? That is horrific. That is absolute. Jesus Christ. That is 1 month. For Christ's sake. For crying out loud. Jesus Christ. October is hard. October is absolutely hard. So in October, we begin. We start off with Tottenham Hotspur on the 1st of October. Tottenham Hotspur, we lost to Tottenham Hotspur 1 game last campaign. That was at the White Hart Lane, and we beat them at the Emirates Stadium. Now they are coming back in October at the Emirates Stadium with Antonio Conte. They brought in Bissouma. They brought in Ivan Perisic. It's scary. It's absolutely scary. But we'll go with a draw in that one. I don't see Arsenal win that one. I will go with a draw against Spurs at home. The next one is Liverpool. No win. Yeah, it's a loss. I will take a loss on that one. I don't have my expectations very high. So a loss against Liverpool. Leeds United, we will win that in a high scoring fashion, like 3 or 4 goals. Yeah. And we should be winning against Leeds in a high-scoring fashion. After Leeds, we talk on Manchester City. Jesus Christ, this is one where Arsenal will lose again. I don't think we are yet to that level where we need to be very optimistic of competing with City and Liverpool. So City, I think I'll take a loss as well. So, but then Southampton a win and Nottingham Forest a win. So out of the 6 games in October, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 3 wins. That is realistic. That is absolutely realistic. I don't want to hear anyone say, "Oh, Cossy, how can you predict that?" I think that's realistic. November, it's easy. 2 games, Chelsea and Wolves. Very hard games, but I think November is a month where you need to win your fixtures because you're now heading into a break. You're about to head into a break, so you need to win your fixtures. Chelsea and Wolves. Chelsea a draw. We can beat Wolves, but Wolves have always been a very stubborn side. So in November, I will not be surprised if Arsenal pick up 1 point out of 6 or only 3 out of 6. December, West Ham and Brighton. Those are 2 teams we have to beat. West Ham, whenever they come at home, whenever we go to their stadium, we beat them. So West Ham, we should continue the good run and we should do the job right. And then Brighton, yes, they've been a little bit hard at times. They beat us this season, and actually last season we did not get a win of them. They beat us in the second leg of the Premier League, and in the first leg it was 0-0. So I think it's time for revenge. Let's get that done. December, not a problem. And then that is where we'll go to the World Cup. January, we'll be back on the 2nd day of January. We'll have Newcastle, Tottenham, and Manchester United. Look, the second half of the season is very hard to predict because we do not know what's going to happen, whether Arsenal will have injuries or everything like that. But I think predicting the first half can show us where Arsenal will be able to finish, right? So I think we'll jump to April and May. The reason that's why we jump to April and May, I think because those are the 2 months that are now very important. April and May at the end of the season. April, you have Leeds United, Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton, Manchester City, and Chelsea. Jesus Christ, again, another very hard month and yet very decisive. Leeds, Arsenal can beat. Liverpool, away from home, I don't think Arsenal will win that one. West Ham, we can win. Southampton, we can win. Manchester City and Chelsea, back to back. That is scary. Any Arsenal fan, knows that is scary. And as we conclude the season in May, Newcastle, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and ending the season at Wolves. Actually, let me tell you this, guys. If Arsenal can compete probably for the top 4 or top 3 until the last month, I think the last month is a bit of a soft one. Newcastle, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and Wolves. Probably Nottingham Forest will be relegated by then. With all due respect. So I just think by that time, if Arsenal have, picked up relevant points, that month would be very, very crucial to where we finish. But of course, like I've said, it is the opening months of the season and the ending months of the season. In between there is not a lot of football, and the few games that are there are actually spaced. So Arsenal has all the time in the world to rest, go into every game prepared. But for me, this is a season that Arsenal need to prepare well, bring in the new signings and bring them in early, and bring players that are needed. Bring players that are needed and are going to add something to your squad. So where will Arsenal finish? I do not know. I will make a prediction after the transfer window. But what should we be looking at this campaign? We should be looking at winning some silverware, Europa League, major silverware, Europa League, right? Because we're not going to compete for the Premier League, for Christ's sake. And the FA Cup, I'm just tired of that. I'm just tired of it. So we should be competing for at least the Europa League and trying to win it, actually, and winning it, and then competing for the top 4, right? Even if we finish 5th again with the Europa League, that is an automatic qualification to the UEFA Champions League. I will not be that disappointed. So that is the Arsenal fixture list. It is out. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? And what do you think Arsenal should be fighting for next campaign?